Have you ever asked someone, hey, will you pass me a Kleenex? Well, while saying pass me a Kleenex is accurate, it's not exactly what you want. What you really want is a tissue. That's the power of not only a brand, but branding and brand strategy. Today, let's talk about the difference and how all three work together. You see, without a solid brand strategy, branding and brand mean very little to us. Brand is the physical product that we can touch and see. Branding is why we know when we grab a tissue, we want a Kleenex. And brand strategy is helping users know that beyond the everyday common cold, tissues can be used for makeup artists, cleaning up spots, and so many other uses. So today, let's talk about how you can build a powerful brand through the intelligent use of branding, which all starts with your brand strategy. Recently, I was chatting with a client and she needed to blow her nose. She said, hey, Sybil, will you hand me a tissue? I said, sure, here's a Kleenex. That is a marketer's paradise when your brand name becomes synonymous with a product. That's ultimately what businesses want. They want for you to have their brand name in your mouth and a direct correlation between what their product or service offers and how you can use that. But let's take a step back and see how they all got there. They got there through brand strategy. Brand strategy as a whole incorporates every aspect of what we experience when we get introduced to a new product. It is the who, what, where, when, why, and how we will learn about a good or service. So, for you as the service based person, ask yourself, how am I answering these questions so that I can connect to my target audience? Brand strategy is the big picture that guides everything that is introduced to us for the brand message. This is the behind the scenes work, the architecture, if you will, of a solid business strategy. So often, women that I partner with say, well, where does brand strategy fit into my business plan? It fits in the business plan. This happens before sales, before marketing, and before you decide how you show up in the world to serve in the ways that you do. Brand strategy incorporates who you're talking to, how you intend to reach your target audience, and the core message that they need to remember about you, your products, and your services. Collectively, when you put all of that together, that leads up to your brand strategy. And this happens through a brand messaging framework. Now, if you're interested in a full video on brand message framework, please pop it in the chat and I will get right on it. At the end of the day, brand strategy is about the long-term sequencing of messaging and brand evolution that helps provide structure into how we view brands, how we emotionally connect to brands, and why we continue to return to them time and time again. This is the long game of building your business strategically, hence the word strategy. So now that we've talked about brand strategy, the next thing we want to do is talk about branding. Now, this is a buzzword. Branding is getting a lot of attention right now, and that's because we are at a place where no longer generic products and services can be on the market and sell. That whole I'll figure it out when I get there can't happen anymore. Consumers are intelligent. They know they have options. We've got a global market to tackle. So to differentiate your product, you have to have solid branding. Branding includes the following. Think about the commercials that we watch for our favorite brands. Think about the marketing assets that we interact with when we are making decisions about whether or not we are going to choose a brand or not. Those are the components of branding. Some other things that you think about branding, think about it as the vehicle. We've got the map, the brand strategy. The branding is the vehicle that is bringing you information in the ways that you need to consume it. So, as a business leader, you need to think, how can I bring a message into the world in a way that my ideal clients want to consume it? That is branding. These are the branding decisions that happen again before you start going to marketing. Do your clients value education? Do they value interaction with your services? How much care can you give them to learn more about your product? Branding is about the believability factor. Do they believe that you can do what you say you can? And how can you prove it? Branding is the proof, but the brand, which is where a lot of business owners spend time on, is the physical thing. And I go back to my box of Kleenex. I physically can touch my Kleenex. And yes, this is an actual Kleenex. When I think about the brand, do I really want a Kleenex or did I simply want a tissue? Well, I wanted a tissue, but it's common language now. So, what is brand? Brand is everything we see, the logos, the graphic design, the images, the color, all of those things that trigger a moment for us to say, this is the product that I am searching for, and this is how I want it. So for you as a service provider, building your brand should happen after you've figured out your map, your brand strategy, your vision for your business, where you figured out your core message, your core identity, and who you want to be to the world. Then you tackle your branding, how you're going to let the world know you're here through awareness, ads, marketing, campaigns, that sort of thing. And then your brand is the imagery that people need to see when they associate what you do with you. What images are going to draw consumers into your business or brand? How can you make sure that the color story that you are telling matches the ideals of your core message? Every single thing you do as a business starts with identifying your core and how you want to amplify it. This is how you create a distinct product and a distinct identity for your brand. When you figure out the graphics and the logos, do you humanize your clients? Do you use caricatures? Are you faceless behind your brand? All of these decisions are made before the product or service ever goes to market. And it's up to you to decide what level of visibility you want for you versus your brand. Now, in another video, I'll talk about the difference between building a personal brand versus a business brand and which one should come first. But ultimately, it comes down to how visible do you want to be? There are a lot of brands that we love, and we will never know who the person is behind the curtains. And they built that way with intention. But if you intend to be the face of your brand, then it starts with a solid brand strategy. Before you hire a graphic artist, before you pick out a font, before you select another logo, design your website, or do all of the things that 90% of people in business do when they think they figured out their brand, start with the 10% that matters. And that is building your brand strategy. So to wrap up, brand is what you see. Branding is how you see it. And brand strategy is the why behind every single thing you do in your business. Hope you enjoyed this one. Don't forget to check out some of my other videos where I talk about brand strategy, and personal branding. Till next time, I will see you later. Bye.